Welcome to the Business Building Blocks podcast, where we talk about struggles and celebrations that leaders and entrepreneurs experience on their journey to success. I'm your host, Kristina, and I'm passionate about helping you achieve massive amounts of success at work and at home. We'll talk about all things people and organizational wellness, share relatable stories, and feature insightful guests because quality people and processes are at the heart of every success story. Ready to learn, grow, and have fun? Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the Business Building Blocks podcast. I'm your host, Kristina Schmitt. I have spoken to a lot of entrepreneurs over the many years they've been in business. One of my favorite parts about them is they're so fun. Like they always can quickly figure out a solution to whatever problem comes up. They're always thinking quickly on their feet. They love getting their hands dirty and just figuring it out, making it happen, and winging it. And so much of their success, especially early on, comes from their ability to do that and to figure it out as they go. But at some point, your business grows too big to just wing it anymore. So what I want to talk about today is I'm going to share with you how to know when you've gotten to that point, and most importantly, what we need to do about it. So let's get into the diagnosis. So there are 6 things that might be a good indicator that it's time to do something different. So first of all, kind of a simple one, but you have a team, but not just any team, because so many times as business owners, what we do is we add the accountant, we have a lawyer that helps us out. We have somebody that's maybe helping with social media, that sort of thing. Do you specifically have people on the team that are doing the thing, right? They're doing the thing that gets the parts out or gets the product out or gets the service out the door. So doing the thing that you created. So if you think about it, when we've gone through stages of a business and you're first, the creator, the doer of it, and then you move into where, you've got these people you've just got to manage, but now you're into this where you're running the business. This is the kind of team I'm talking about. Like you're at this point that these people are now doing the thing that you used to do or that you invented or you created, and you have to help them do it the way that you did it with the level of expertise that you did it. And that's usually a good indicator that now you've got to start putting something else in place. So the second one, so first you have a team, specifically people who are doing what you used to do. Number 2, you find yourself answering questions that you're saying, gosh, my team should know the answer to this. It's so simple. It's right here, or we've done it like this for 20 years, or whatever the answer is, but you're questioning the questions you get because they should know the answer. Your second one. Your third one, you find yourself, it has to do with questions again. You find yourself answering the same type of questions. So what I mean by that is it's typically something that has to do with a process, like how you do things, or maybe the way you look at it and the way you problem solve it, or with the direction of the company. So it could be like a strategic decision. It could be like a choice, like A or B. It could be a lot of those sort of things, but you're finding yourself answering questions about how to do something or a technique to use with it or the direction that the company's going. Number 4, you find yourself, you started to think about the business a little bit differently. So you started to think, what else could we do with this business? Or how is this business growing? Or what's the next step? So you've started to think about it. You're not just thinking about, getting the thing from point A to point B. You're now thinking a little bit like a business owner, a little bit more like the person who wants to work on the business, not just in the business anymore. So you've noticed that shift in your own brain. Number 5, and this can probably be said for about everybody, but if you've met 1 through 4 already, number 5 is probably going to start showing up soon if it hasn't already, but you're feeling very stretched. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you're still probably doing the thing, that same thing that you have a team that does as well, but you're still probably doing the thing. Plus you're trying to work on the business as well. So the problem with that, if we especially lean into working genius quite well, is that doing the thing is very much your GET, right? The get things done sort of portion. So galvanizing, enablement, tenacity work. But the other part takes some wonder, takes some inventing of something new sometimes, and it takes some discernment as well. So you're trying to jump from the low end of the working genius project scale to the top end. And that's very exhausting and can leave you feeling very stretched, very overwhelmed, very unable to really move things forward the way you would like to or the way you used to. And number 6, this one is kind of a big one. It's a little bit like, maybe it might be a bit gut-wrenching to feel, we'll say, but the business can no longer absorb your mistakes. Yikes. What does that mean? So what happens is, because you're feeling stretched, because there's people doing the things you used to do, that, you know what, your mistakes, like when you were small, weren't that big of a deal. Like you forgot to tell somebody something, we followed up, we got it fixed. It's not a problem. But the problem is that the bigger your company gets, the bigger impact these mistakes, that forgetting to communicate something, has on someone. The quick decisions that you're just making on the fly, they have a bigger impact. Where you used to just be able to say, yeah, let's go do this and get it done. Like now it's got to happen with a little more structure, because you have to communicate it to, 3 shifts, or to, Sally, who only works on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the office, but you got to show her something new. And so you have to have a little bit more planning, right? And this ability to feel as agile maybe becomes harder, because you don't have that, like you're just bigger. So like, just to kind of give you an example, like when you're at 3 employees, everyone's going to eventually hear it. It'll be fine. Everybody gets there. Everyone gets the information, or the mistake can get quickly fixed because there's only 3 of you. It's, you're mostly doing most of it anyways. Now, when you get to like 30 employees, now if you make a mistake, maybe you make that quick decision in the hall, or, something changes and you toss this one out and you start this one now, and, things get a little bit shifted around. Now you've got confusion, you've got frustration. You have people that take breaks and have like water cooler conversations, and they're like, what in the world is going on? Because that's not okay when you get to that size. And now when you get to, let's say 50 employees, it's like, yikes, because you've got people running in this direction, and this team is working on this project, and this product has to do something different now. And so you've created chaos. And this is where you really start to see that, okay, something's got to change. I need to have a little bit more steady eddiness, or I need to be able to have people be able to answer these questions on their own, which means I have to make the decision earlier, which means you can't just be winging it. So let's dig into why this doesn't work once you get to a certain size, especially certain size with people, right? Is that, when you're small, this winging it works because everybody's there. Like there's only, winging it only needs really 3 things to happen. So first of all, everyone, can sit around the same table, have the same conversation, and is involved in all of the decisions. So that creates that buy-in that we've talked about in several other episodes. It creates, people get it. Like it creates that like knowledge of how to do it, and it just works better. It's fine. Number 2, when you're winging it, when it's okay, is that typically it's because the owner actually knows everything that's happening. And, that happens because you're involved in everything, because the team is small, because you're in that early stages of the business, and you have to be. And number 3, communication naturally just spreads because people are around each other, right? Like it just happens. So this winging it can happen when you're small, when you're just starting out, when it is very agile and small, for lack of a better word, small. But you're growing, everybody needs to just keep their eyes on you all the time. But once you've grown to a size where you need other people to hold a little bit of the bag. They need you to have made a decision in advance so they can continue to hold the bag the way that you want them to hold the bag. So when you have this kind of growth, it's awesome, because it means you're probably making some decent money. You're probably getting your product or service out to lots of people, and it's having a big impact on the world, and it's amazing. But the problem is that if you're creating confusion, if you're getting people frustrated, if you're, changing priorities and people don't know which way to go, they're going to get really frustrated. Then what's going to happen is your customers are going to see that frustration either in poor quality, poor service, reworks, bad products, however, things coming out that shouldn't come out, because that's the impact of a poor culture. That's the impact of people not knowing what's going on, is that your customers and your clients feel that pain as much as you guys do. So I learned this a long time ago. I think I have another episode where I talk about this more, but when the team is failing, then the project fails. You may not see it right away, but eventually it will fall apart, because People don't know the direction. They don't know what they're meant to do. They can't move forward on things because there's no clear direction. There's no processes. There's no direction being given. So this is when I end up talking to a lot of leaders and a lot of business owners, but this is when people start to feel like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'll just cut everything and bring it back to this small little business where it was simple and I got to do these things I love doing, and that will make everything better. But the problem is it doesn't, because you've been there. You've got your product and your service out to this, grand place, and people love it. They want to keep doing it. So it's really just a point of when you need to now learn the next big thing. This needs to become your next transition. And doing all the same things that you used to do to get you to this point aren't going to work anymore. And we need to start changing how we function, creating a system around it, using our team, and leading them well. So let's talk about what this shift needs to look like. So there are 3 major things that need to happen. You need to start utilizing yourself leadership systems. So that looks like having some delegation happening. That looks like developing your team members, giving them that direction and following up and making sure they're trained and giving them feedback on it. These leadership systems that help people grow and live the values that you want them to, that have the skill sets that you need them to, and continue to grow. So leadership systems are there. So what that requires of you is to start leading and giving feedback and delegating properly, not just throwing it over the wall, working through one-on-one coaching sessions, communicating well with them. So that is the first one. Get some leadership systems rolling. Second one, we need to have some strategic systems. So strategy. So I always use the Patrick Lencioni's 6 critical questions because they're simple and not fluffy. And you can do something with them so that they're more practical, more useful, and they actually help you get your business rolling better. So, understanding, why do you exist? So yeah, you created the company from the first place because of a reason. Why? Write that down and communicate it. Everybody on your team should be able to tell people that. Every employee should be able to tell people why your business exists. And when you can do that, now you can start with why, as some people like to say, but you've got the bigger picture, and it feels better. Like, people enjoy working where they understand how their business helps. You want to understand what you do. What do you do? Right? How do you behave? So what are these core values? What are these value systems that you have within your business? Because that's going to help you hire the right people and keep the right people and get rid of the not right people, because that's important. When we all can live the same core values, that helps us do things in the way that you, the owner, want to do them and want to make sure they get done. And what things differentiate your business? So what makes your business special? So we call these in the strategy 6 critical questions world, what are our strategic anchors? So these are the things that almost like knobs to turn or filters to put things through to make sure that we're doing things that work for our business, or the things that do work for our business are being done. So these are the kind of core of, but more importantly with the strategy, what's most important right now. So this focused thing that we're working on, the whole team is rallying around, and we're actually getting accomplished, not just writing on a piece of paper and hoping for the best. So that's those strategic systems that we're looking for. And the last one is we need now an operating system. So I mentioned earlier that, when you're winging it, the owner always knows exactly what's going on because they know everything about it because they're involved in everything. As you grow, you can't possibly be involved in everything to the same depth that you used to be. So you need systems around how you get to that level. So that will be specific meetings that need to be had, specific reports and metrics that need to be had. It will also, get into some of those leadership systems and how those link in and tie together. So are you coaching one-on-one? Is every leader in your organization coaching their team one-on-one? How are they running that team? How are they sharing that team? So it evolves into that as well. So when we put these 3 things together, we get clarity around how things are done. We get clarity around who's doing them and why they're doing them. And we get clarity around, and we can have clear direction on, are we getting to that spot? So we've got metrics, we've got people doing what they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to be doing it with the same gusto that you did it. And you're creating another extension of yourself, essentially. So if you've started to feel this pull, you've started to feel like, I'm not successful, I must be failing, I'm not doing it right anymore, and I just need to work harder and push harder. If you've really started to feel that way, I want you to take a breath, and I want you to just look at the size of your organization. Look at these 6 things that I just went through in the diagnosis section. Look at these things. Are you meeting these criteria? Because if you are, you're not failing. You're still able to win the game. You just have to make sure you're playing the right game, right? Because it's not that you're doing worse, or it's not that you can't do it. It's that the game has changed. You have to make a shift in the way you lead your business so that your team can function effectively within it. So this is a lot, and it might feel like a lot, especially if you're trying to do it on your own, because it's not easy to do by yourself. Like, you can't do it by yourself. That's another shift. So I have started putting something together, and I've started to come up with something where we're going to address all 3 of these things in a 9-month engagement together. So it's not happening until the fall. So there's lots of time, but I'm going to be in the next few episodes going through some of these processes and going through, some of the problems we see and kind of what needs to happen in order to move to this next level, to help you get to these things, to help you achieve these 3 big things that are coming at you because your business has gotten so successful. So I'm going to start just going over some of that. And so keep listening to the podcast, and I'll give you some more information as we get a little bit closer to the fall if you would like some help with some of this. And as always, you can always reach out if you have questions, or if you would like some help with something right now. And yeah, I can definitely help you out with that, because that's where I love doing it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you know somebody who needs to hear this, then pass the episode along to them, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And I will see you on the next episode of the Business Building Blocks podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Business Building Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. If you found value in our conversation, please leave a quick review, like, or share. It helps us reach more amazing listeners like you. For more resources and insights, visit KristinaSchmitt.ca, where you can find tools and support to empower your leadership journey. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.